Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another installment of the Friday Night Podcast. Here today with a very special guest, UncAGEDgamez, continuing to make very creative content for Mortal Kombat and fighting games in general. Man, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on the podcast. Really do appreciate it.
Oh, rest assured, the pleasure is all mine. So I wanted to ask, I really enjoy a lot of your videos, but the buying everything Mortal Kombat is just especially entertaining. Where did the inspiration come for that? It's very fun to watch, very engaging.
Well, I'm glad you like it. A lot of my viewers like that. That's like one of my popular series on my channel. But the idea came from, creating Mortal Kombat videos. Demonetization has been pretty awful. So I want to still make Mortal Kombat videos, but not actually play Mortal Kombat because YouTube will then flag those videos. So
It's such a weird paradox. You're 100% true. Like, you want to make content, but YouTube goes no and slaps your hand. And it's like they're offering the cookie jar right in front of you. But when you reach in, they slap your hands. So you're like, okay, well, how do I get my cookie fix without reaching into that jar? And it's really difficult.
Exactly. And a lot of people know me for Mortal Kombat, so I can't just like stop Mortal Kombat in general. So my idea was leading up to the Mortal Kombat 11 release, I was going to do 11 days of Mortal Kombat, and each day would be a special Mortal Kombat themed video without actually me playing the game. So one of them was buying everything Mortal Kombat because I'm like, oh, that would be kind of cool. Go around, see how many things I could find with Mortal Kombat. Surprisingly, I found a good amount of stuff, and that's how that series came to be.
And a really cool benefit of that, too, is you get so much swag in the background for your studio, too. You can just fill it up with stuff. And for anyone who's not aware, he goes through a lot of effort, like all day sometimes, just going from shop to shop, trying to find just one toy he doesn't already have to make that series ongoing. Caboose was telling me all about it in LA, how y'all were just starting in the morning and just kept on going, man. I showed up towards the tail end, so I only experienced a little bit of it. And even then, it was like, wow, y'all are going everywhere. And you're footing it, you're walking, you're traveling, riding sometimes with a lift, just depends. It's very engaged. It's a lot of effort for that series, but has rewards to it too. So it's like you get out what you put in, which is very nice.
And a lot of, like I said, a lot of my viewers really enjoy something different. So I thought that was a fun little video to do. And yes, I do keep everything I buy. So some people think that I return it or like sell it. I have it all. Every single thing I bought, I've kept. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, if you ever do get bored or you're out of ideas, you could do a selling everything Mortal Kombat series. And you're just selling your stuff for fun.
I did a little funny video on that one. People actually watch people watch the first 5 seconds. I saw a thumbnail. They went right to the comments and say, "You're a fake Mortal Kombat fan. You sold all your collection. How could you?" At the very end of the video, I literally say I didn't sell anything. But people don't have a long attention span to watch the whole thing.
Oh, I know it for sure. I've done videos where in the first 10 seconds I describe what the video's about, and then I get an angry comment saying, why did you do this in the video? And it's like, you definitely skipped over the first 10 seconds somehow, or you just omitted it, or you were doing something else. I don't know. I understand some people may be like me and they're in the car listening to a video or something, but even so, but then they'd be commenting while driving, maybe at a red light. And that seems very, very dangerous.
Not safe. Not safe there.
No. That's awesome though to have so much stuff there in the background because people make fun of mine right here because you can barely even see it. But the reality is, just so we're clear, it's just really far away. That wall is like really, the scorpion head's like over here. Look how small he is. That thing's bigger than my head, and it's just really far away. This is just what ended up happening. Both my bedrooms are the same size. So I couldn't really do any better than this in terms of getting it closer. I have played with the idea of getting a fake wall to just slide in that extends out and like have stuff on it maybe. I don't know. Because I've been told that green screens can be a hassle, so I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, green screens, they're a lot.
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I have one when I do my live streams, but it's just pulling it up, all that, just too much work. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't really beat it with those kind of videos, though. It's good to have something like that. I should probably invest in one at some point. I've seen those cool ones where you can pull them down like a projector. You kind of pull them down from the ceiling. Have you seen those?
Yep.
I saw it on the PewDiePie, the channel that must not be named because YouTube hates that poor guy, despite all the effort. So, how long have you been a fan of fighting games? And, did you always want to make your channel around that once you, had that love for it? Or, what inspired, the fighting game channel idea? And what's, I don't know, what's the fire for fighting games for you? What do you like the most about a fighting game?
So what I like most about a fighting game is just when I was growing up, it was me and my brother or me and my cousins or whatever, and we would play a game. And one of the games that we would play would either be a racing game or a fighting game. And fighting games are a lot more fun, in my opinion. It's just one person versus another person. And at the time when we were younger, we really didn't know combos or whatever. All I knew was there was a yellow ninja, there was a blue ninja. I'm picking one of them. So
I couldn't even block in those games when I was a kid. I didn't know what the block button was. I just attacked and hoped that my attack would win.
Just jump and mash the attacks, and I still do that, and it works.
Combat League is still full of that, man. I tell you, I feel like Eris sometimes, where he doesn't even play Tekken online anymore because it just ruins the flavor of what makes a fighting game good sometimes when you're playing online. But yeah, so what? I know I gave you a very layered question. I regret that I asked it like that. It was like 5 questions rolled into one. So the next part I think was, what did you initially want to make your channel around? Was it always fighting games, and if so, why or why not?
Okay, so what was my initial channel? It was not actually fighting games. It was when I first started YouTube. It was more of a comedy, skits.
Oh, okay, very interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Do those videos still exist? They still up or not? Or are they unlisted now? I've unlisted very many of my videos, so I can't even judge.
Unlisted pretty much all of them. But yeah, I started that because when I first got introduced to YouTube, one of my cousins introduced me to a guy named Ryan Higa. His videos.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like How to Be Ninja, and I'm like, oh, sweet. There's a funny Asian dude on the internet. I'm a funny, or I thought I was a funny Asian guy. So let me make some videos. My videos tanked. Those videos got like 50 views, and I was like 49 of those views. So
back when the refresh trick worked, I remember that back when I was in middle school. You hit refresh a few times to raise it, and you're like, yeah, look at that.
It's like, oh, look, my video got 100 views. Refresh, 101. You keep doing it. So I did that originally, and then that didn't really go anywhere. So I stopped doing YouTube for a year or so. And then I found a video of some guy playing Gears of War, and he did videos on that. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Someone can upload video games to YouTube. So then I bought a really janky capture card that was like shot in like 360p or whatever.
They were all janky back then for sure.
Yep, they were all janky. And I made Gears of War videos, and like I think I made MK9, like barely MK9 videos, but I got the name Uncaged because my friend hated Johnny Cage, and I'm like, Johnny Cage is cool, so I made a unCAGEDgamez account. So
I feel like Johnny Cage is so much cooler now than he's ever gotten to be. They're really pushing that character, and it happened kind of naturally, because in MK9 he was like the lovable goof. And then in MKX, it was like, oh, by the way, he's the hero now. And you're like, okay.
He's the hero.
Okay, I'm kind of on board. And I feel like back in the 3D era, he was like my least favorite. Like our friends, we kind of all jumped on. We all kind of made fun of and roasted Johnny Cage for some reason. Because he's just a guy in a way, kind of like Stryker.
Exactly. Like if you look at the original MK roster, you got like these ninjas. You got like gods that shoot lightning, fireballs. And then we got a dude.
And it's extra ironic because that was actually the main character initially for the game, was going to be Jean-Claude Van Damme, right? And that's why he's dressed like Bloodsport. Like he has the exact same outfit. They should bring that back. Does Johnny Cage even have like a shorts alternate? I don't think he even really does.
I don't think he does.
That would look so sick with the sash and everything. Why not? That'd be great. They're hiding it. I guarantee you. That's in the future. That's a classic coming out. Why not? I feel kind of bad for giving that idea like several years ago. I was like, it'd be a good idea for a fighting game like franchise. I have a new take on all the costumes, and then you can just sell the classic outfits. It would do better than trying to have the classic outfits by default and selling the new idea. Just sell the favorite one. And now everyone's doing that. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yes.
I wonder if hopefully they didn't watch me, and I can be like blame free for that.
You
was
are the one that caused all this.
No, you are the one that caused it. You can't prove it. It's fine. I'm clean. It's all fine. Okay, so with that in mind, just for fun, because in a fighting game, for me, it's all about the grapplers, as long as I can find a true grappler. To me, in MK11, no character really fits that yet, but I think for a DLC character, we'll get someone who might just be 100% grabs, and it's just always throwing you. Jax is a grappler, I agree, but let's be honest, what makes Jax good is that he's safe on everything, and he just has overheads, and he just smacks you in the ground, and as he hurts you, it gets more damage, right? The throws are kind of secondary. I want a character who just throws you constantly and is just being a bully. What's your favorite fighting style for a character?
So when I play fighting games, I lean towards rushdown characters. I just really like to be up in people's faces when I play. I can't do zoning. I'm not that patient. Grapplers, I can kind of maybe play grapplers, but I just like the fastest characters. I like the rushdown. That's why I picked Johnny. I like Johnny a lot because Shadow kicked my way in there and just go ham. So.
And it's been so fun to watch Johnny Cage slowly climb that tier list, and now he's like top 5. It's crazy. I was playing him and I had a lot of fun with them. Like, you get plus frames on the projectiles as long as you're not fighting a female character, he's just a lot of fun. Yeah, he's actually really good. His keep away variation is ridiculous, but let him have the fun for now. I can't do keep away either. Like, I could, but you feel shameful doing it because you're like, oh man, there's like no risk and all this reward for staying away and throwing stuff. Unless you're fighting Scorpion or something. Otherwise, you just keep throwing it, and it's not a problem.
And see, the thing about playing keep away too is unless you're playing like tournament or like something's on the line and you really want to win, then you do that. But if you're like us when we had to make videos or whatever, doing a keep away and just sitting back and throwing projectiles, it's a very boring video. So I can't really.
That's also why I've lost plenty of matches where I know how to beat the keep away if someone's keep awaying. But I know how boring it would be, and I'm like, no, I can sense the viewers leaving. I want to get in there and make something happen, so I'm just eating projectiles in the face, making mistakes, and I'm like, I just want to get in and keep things fun. You're making it unfun. Yeah. But no, Rushdown's a lot of fun, too. I like Rushdown, too, just as long as it's not 50-50 based. I like frame traps, because Jackie is my favorite character right now, actually.
Jackie's awesome.
I don't play her very often because no one likes her. There's like zero love for her as far as YouTube goes. They don't want to watch like ranked matches with Jackie, really. But she's so much fun. They nerfed her a lot, but I think she's still a lot of fun. She got me pretty far at Evo, so she's always going to have a special place in my heart. I do love her. So, here's a really important question. If you had the magic gauntlet, all the Infinity Stones, and you could bring any MK character as DLC into Mortal Kombat 11, who do you want?
Any character?
Any Mortal Kombat character. Let's try to keep guest characters for a different question.
Mortal Kombat character. The first one, every time someone asks me that question, Takeda is my number one. I don't know why he just popped my head.
He's a good boy. Takeda's a good boy.
Pretty awesome character in MKX. And I feel like if he was in MK11, his gear would be pretty amazing. And like, he kind of just vanished. Like, they don't really mention where Takeda went in MK11. Like, is he dead? Is he not dead? We see him in character endings.
Yeah, they just name drop him, but that's it.
That's pretty much it.
No clue what he's doing, though, just that he exists. And it's a real injustice because I think he was the favorite Kombat kid, aside from Cassie, but for her, it's just the genetics. Everyone likes the idea of Johnny Cage and Sonya's kid. But as far as like who's the coolest to watch and the coolest idea, you have Kenshi's kid raised by Scorpion. Yeah. There's nothing cooler. That's too
like
cool.
You have that resume is already too awesome. And like if you look at his gameplay, the guy has whips, chain whips. He has like lightsabers. Like
he was a cyborg at first. That was like his thing. Dude, and he would fit so well into MK11, his playstyle.
Exactly.
Like a glove.
I don't know why they just, like, he's not even mentioned in the story. I think I read somewhere that the developer said that he's alive doing a different mission, but, like, the world's in danger. What other mission is more important than this mission right now? I don't know.
And I just realized it gets more confusing because I was going to say that the ending has him with Kenshi doing stuff, but Kenshi is apparently dead. Yeah. So how do we know what anyone's doing? Unless the crypt is 100% just not canon. Which maybe it's not, because I'm pretty sure everyone's head is on the pike. So maybe the crypt is just not canon at all. Maybe the crypt is like where Armageddon kept going. Because Shang Tsung is also alive in the crypt, isn't he?
Yeah, and then also, Shang
or is it a hologram message? I don't know how that works.
like a Star Wars hologram message?
Yeah, but with like souls.
And then also, if you go to Goro's throne room, where all the food is, you see Kano's skeleton. So maybe it's not canon.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably just one giant movie reference. But if not, that's... No, you're right, though. Like, that, I didn't even think of that. Like, Kano's dead AF. And well, I guess Sonya killed him, but not in that way.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is another black hole for another time. I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of Kano, I just want to... I don't know. Maybe it's not worth mentioning, but I found it so odd that it's supposed to be a twist reveal when current Kano walks into the frame in the story mode, as opposed to past Kano, because he's the one that would have been brought in by Chronica. But for some reason, he walks into a frame and he's like, yeah, trust her. And it's like, wait, did they flip on that by accident? Because it should be current Kano isn't sure, and then past Kano comes in and is like, look at this magic. Like, I'm here. But instead it's like, oh, you're telling me I didn't die yet. Interesting. Because otherwise, that's the only explanation for not having two Kanos is one's dead. Though then again, if I found my clone who was in the past, I would just lock him away in a box. Like, hey, you don't die. It's like 100% like possible. All right, that's interesting. Takeda's a good boy. I think for me, even though it's gotten so horrible with the memery and all that, ever since the reveal event, I've wanted Melina. I just thought she'd be in the game for sure. And I made some like offhanded jokes like
Yeah.
pretending to be desperate, like, oh, come on, man, she's got to be in the game. And I made the joke that every character I had drawn fan art for had been put in the game, even Scarlet, who was kind of an out there idea before she got revealed. So I'm like, like it seems to happen. Whoever I draw gets in the game, and then Frost got leaked. So I'm like, yeah, whoever I draw ends up in the game. But then Melina wasn't there. I drew her like 3 times. She's not going to be in the game yet. She may never be in the game, and that would be fine. I don't agree with the death threats and all that crazy stuff. And just before this podcast, go ahead.
I think it's a little crazy, like the people. Like I know Melina has a big fan base, but like it's kind of insane how much like they're threatening developers. It's like, come on, guys.
I have a tinfoil hat theory that's actually people who hate Melina who are pretending to be Melina stans, and they're just making it look bad. That's just a tinfoil hat theory, though.
Snap.
Like they
That
never want to
could
see
be.
Melina, so they're being evil about it. You know,
The reverse psychology.
it could work. The problem, the worst thing about it is that now the Rain fans seem rational because they're always the second one to comment. The first comment is always like, "Oh, put Melina in the game," and the second one's like, "Nah, she's dead. Rain, put Rain in there." I used to love it. It was like clockwork. But before you started the podcast, Ed Boon, like just an hour ago, made that tweet where it's like you can now block people based on like what they comment. So
really?
So you can just block people who ask for Melina. That's the joke that he made. If you ask for Melina or Rain, or like I forgot what else it was, like nerf a certain character, like you're all blocked. As if Ed Boon is in charge of nerfing characters. That's just so silly. And like I swear, like he's done trolling where he like says the characters won't be in the game, but the greatest troll you could ever actually do is confirm a character and just be lying about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
it could be like Melina's in the game, but then never have it.
Was it you or someone had this idea? I don't know if it was you or a History Behind the Warriors. Someone told me they had a theory that maybe it was actually Brusque Poet. I don't remember. But they said, what if the Joker trailer just starts off with Melina coming in dancing and she gets shot point blank at the side of the head by Joker and he steps over her corpse. And you're like, oh my God.
Dude, that would be the biggest middle finger ever. I don't know if Nether has the balls to do that.
Just
That's
like Sue Hao, the head's just there.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like,
oh my God.
Maybe,
yeah, that's
more subtle. You could be more subtle about it, like a skull that looks like Melina's face, kind of like it has the Tarkatan teeth, but it's like got her hair on it or something. It's like subtle, but not quite a confirmation.
Yeah.
A little less ballsy, but still very impressive to go for that bold of a move.
That'd be so crazy. Yeah,
I mean, every character has 5 different intros, right? So you could have it like he kills a different one people want every time he comes in.
True. Yeah, all the characters that are deconfirmed, he just kills each one of those characters.
Ermac bang, Reptile bang. Oh man, I wanted to make a comic about that, but it's way too late now, so I'm not gonna do it. But I thought, like, wouldn't it be funny to have them all playing poker and they're all bitching about like their fate in the game? And it's like Melina's like, I'll never be added, and Ermac's like, at least you don't die in a cutscene. And then Reptile's like, at least fans don't kill you for currency. And it just keeps getting worse and worse because you actually kill Reptile to get stuff. That's like the lowest it can be. Reptile was already a jobber, but now he is confirmed killed by Crypt Guy, who dies to meat. The random demons that like attack you when you put the Kenshi fold on. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. Okay. So I think you already talked a bit about what made you want to start a YouTube channel. You wanted to do the skits and the sketches and all that fun stuff. For me, it was personally Beiruti. So now here's another more personal question. So I think I already know the answer. So maybe it's just a spitball. But what fighting game do you love the most? So let's say if it is a Mortal Kombat game, which of the Mortal Kombats is your true love? And if it's not Mortal Kombat, like which game do you think holds like the most special place in your heart?
So my favorite fighting game? Let's see. Okay, so out of all the Mortal Kombat games that are out, I think I had the most fun playing Mortal Kombat X. Just because, like I said, I like Rushdown, and that game was very fast. There was a sprint. There was the stamina.
It's great. So it's amazing. It's freeing.
I loved it. So when I went from MKX to MK11, it felt so slow. I felt like I had chains on me or something. I don't know. I like it now, but the first like month of Mortal Kombat 11, it was a struggle. So I like MKX, but like I think my all-time favorite fighting game, I don't play it a lot, but like I really like playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I really enjoy that game.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm not great at it, but I really like comic book characters, and so playing that was pretty cool. I was very disappointed in Infinite, though. I couldn't.
Yeah, I've talked about how Infinite made a lot of bad choices, but I still love playing it. And it has Jeddah, and I feel bad that might be the only game that Jeddah shows up in. Like if they make a sequel, he won't be in the next one. But Jeddah is so much fun in that game. He can do super into super, and it's really easy. And Marvel Infinite is still fun to watch. It's just not very pretty. like appearance wise, but the combos are still fun. The creativity is still there. But yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to Marvel 3. It really doesn't. I wanted to play Marvel 3 because I couldn't play it back in the day. I was good at MK9 and then thought I was a boss. Tried to play Street Fighter 4, was getting wrecked. Couldn't do it. Right? The combos, even a basic combo, required really precise timing, and it was frustrating. And then I was like, well, I'll play Marvel. Marvel has long combos, and I like that. But it's just like Dragon Ball FighterZ, where if the opponent knows what they're doing and they overwhelm you, you just don't get a turn. There's like no get off me buttons. Like you just get bullied.
Sit there, just be like, I hope I can stop blocking and attack finally, but it's not happening.
Exactly. And also, like, if you don't, it's one of those games where it really helps to play it when it first comes out. So you can be learning it when everyone else learns it. Otherwise, every character has like, 3 different assists or something like that. So you don't know which one they're even picking. And you're like, oh God, what's that one do? And they can just trick you with stuff like that. But I wanted to learn Jill. She seemed like so much fun. She's kind of like the Melina of that game in terms of like how feral she is and stuff and her attacks.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought of that. I mean, I have a weird tendency to pick evil female characters in fighting games. I've had buddies tell me I have a problem. I like some good characters too.
I mean, I kind of have similar ways of picking character. Like you pick evil female characters. I somehow always pick like the confident like jock characters for some reason. I pick Johnny. I like Ken from Street Fighter. I like Aquaman from Injustice. I don't know. I just tend to pick those characters. I don't know. I think they're cool.
Those are all Heart of Gold kind of characters too, though. Like they're all like good people at heart. So they got that going for them too. For me, it's like I've always liked Jury. I don't think I liked Melina until MKX, but when I saw them like showcase her trailer and then her combat cast, I was like, oh my God, she looks like so much fun and her flow is really interesting. Seems like a lot of fun to play. And then sure enough, like I was playing her like the launch day and I'm like, oh yeah, Melina's a lot of fun. Like this is pretty interesting. Katana was a lot of fun too, but I don't know, like Melina just had that crazy rushdown factor. There is one thing though that I do like more about MK11 than MKX at a very basic core level. In MKX, while you can run cancel, you cannot dash cancel. That thing has to finish. And that is so frustrating to dash in, opponent hits the floor and you're like, where'd my attack go? Where is it? Whereas in MK11, dash and attack immediately. And you're like, yes, that's so good. Why can't I have both? Why is it dash or run? Because both can leave you open if you're not smart about it. So it's like, oh no. MK11 makes you, MKX makes you commit. But one thing I did love about MKX, going back to it, is I was like, wow, I'm not going to lose to a scrub in this game ever. They have like no weapons against me. There's no crushing blow comeback. There's no fatal blow. The best they can do is waste all their bar on an X-ray, and it doesn't hurt that bad. And like there's nothing they can do. Now, of course, there were still great players who rolled me, who like wrecked me.
Yeah.
But even
MK11, like you said, the crushing blow, the fatal blow. You could be at 100% health, and they could be at like 5, and if they hit you with like 3 crushing blows, fatal, they could win. So, but you can't. That never happened in MKX. It was like rare. But it happens quite often in MK11.
All I want now is a screen freeze. Like, I don't mind the idea. I like the idea of super not being tied to your main meter because that way you see it used for other things. That's a good idea. But the fact that Jax can come in from downtown and just hit me in the face and I have no way of knowing it's coming. Just bing, and I'm like, oh. And I'm like, dear sweet Jesus, I forgot that move exists. And it just like punches me in the face. That's crazy. Aaron Black had a 10 frame full screen. Like, it was like impossible.
It was like you blink and you get hit.
Exactly, and that's like makes it so difficult. And I think if they took that stuff out, it would be not out. Sorry, that's ridiculous to ask that because that's such a fun part of the game. Actually, is crushing blows. But there is something crazy about how when you fight a character, say for example, like Cabal, 5 of his crushing blows are all counter hit. So you're getting hit by them, and you're like, I guess I just shouldn't press any buttons in neutral. Because like I just keep getting crushing blowed, or you're fighting someone and they throw you and it's like, I guess I shouldn't try to break throws because now he gets a 40% damage throw on me.
Exactly.
I guess I should just die because whenever I play the game, I'm getting punished. And unless you're fighting an honest character like Johnny Cage, who has none, like no crushing blows aside from one humble one. It's the shade toss, which is still one of the coolest ones in the game.
It is one of the coolest ones, and like we talked about earlier, how Johnny has somehow magically moved up the tier list. Like he was, I personally thought that he was the worst character in the game, but I love Johnny, so I'll play him regardless. Because, like you said, no crushing blows at the beginning. Like all of his crushing blows sucked, and now the shade throw one is kind of good. And the Ninja Mime, parry.
That
But
one's
You have
fun.
to land at the very first hit of the game, which like if you don't,
Mhm.
well, there you go. You're not gonna get that crushing blow ever.
And some of those don't count because if they're airborne, I'm pretty sure. Like I tried doing the snapshot one. That one's supposed to give you the same thing. Like 3 of them are all the same. Like land at the start of the round, like first hit.
Yeah.
And like the snap your picture one, if you do that, if they're in the air, it doesn't count. So you're like, well, if they do anything, like if they jump, I don't get it, even though I spent the bar at the very start of the match. So I'm like, darn, it's not going to happen. I guess against the Scorpion player, you may land the nut punch one because that's just punish, but I never really see it. And we all know that crushing blows where the opponent can drop are useless because they're just going to drop the first chance they get.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man. But yeah, I think MK11 has got the closest to being balanced. So it has that going for it for sure. It's going to be the prettiest fighting game for a long time to come.
For sure.
It's just gorgeous. I can't
It's
wait
so
for
gorgeous. It looks so real that YouTube demonetizes it because they think it's real violence. But
that's part of it. But we also
good.
we can't forget that YouTube AI has also confused battle bots for animal abuse. So it's got that going for it. That was amazing.
true.
That's a special
That's
day.
true.
I have an inside joke about that where like it's not that it thinks it's animal abuse. It just sees its own brethren being tortured. And it's like, no, my machine friends are
Must
being
avenge my machine brother.
exactly. No money for this human, making my people die for sport. So, do you play a lot of fighting games then? Like you've played like a lot of them, even if you're not like super
I played
into
a good
them?
handful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played a good handful. Yeah.
Are there any fighting games you'd like to see come back that haven't gotten like a chance in a long time?
I think that
There's not too many, I guess, now that I think about it. There's not a ton.
Yeah. I wouldn't say this game to come back, but I would like to see this game be more popular by more players. It's a game called Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It's the Power Ranger fighting game. It's like a 3v3. So it's pretty much like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but with Power Rangers. Yeah. And I love Power Rangers. So like, I don't know if you guys, okay, well, there's like a whole shelf over here that you guys can't see. But
doesn't exist. We can't see it.
It doesn't exist. But yeah, I like that game a lot, and I would like to see that game be played by more competitive players. But it's kind of like under the radar right now. So
I had some people chew me out in the comments for not including that in one of my tier lists for like fighting game of the year because I actually did forget about it. And I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, competitive wise, it seems like it's up there. It's got some crazy fun to it. It's got some it requires a competent player to do impressive stuff in that game. The animations on some things look kind of goofy, but the character designs are pretty solid. It looks just like the characters from the show. And more recently, too, a lot of those, and in the comics, too, the Power Ranger comics are actually pretty on point. I've read like a few issues that involve time travel and stuff, and I'm like, wow. I love how comic books aren't afraid to be more adult-friendly, even if like Power Rangers can be kidsy at times. But the comic is actually surprisingly adult with adult themes, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty sick. I love that. Yeah. It's like the good old days back in the Spider-Verse when it was like Game of Thrones for Spider-Man. I'm a Spider-Man fan. I still thought that was amazing. It was crazy to watch that. So here's a tough one, a really tough one. I'm gonna raise the bar a bit because I asked one guy like, "What's your like the best fighting game of the past 5 years?" What do you think is the fighting game of the decade since we're now in 2020?
Oh fudge!
Yes.
Fighting game of the decade.
We only ask the tough questions here.
Oh man. Okay, how about you answer that question first?
Oh, I did a whole tier list on it. So, I mean, that already exists. But for me, I ended up, because I was being trying to be objective about it. Like, my favorite Mortal Kombat game, just like you, is MKX. And for fan love, I like MK9, but MK9 has some goofy nonsense in it. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. And MK11 is fun, but I thought that, like, the crushing blows combined with a lot of the system mechanics being simplified to make things more universal, like, is not as much fun for me either. So the game I ended up putting at number 1 because it ended up being games that were like the pinnacle of their genre. So for 2D like fighting game with like pure 2D, like not 2.5D, I had King of Fighters 13 because that's like the deepest 2D fighting game you'll find, and it's really high, very fun to watch. It burned out really quickly, but it burned super bright. Then I had Tekken 7, of course, for 3D fighting games with Soul Calibur pretty close. I had Killer Instinct for being the only one in its genre that I could think of. Nothing plays like Killer Instinct, really. It's a very unique fighting game. And I didn't put any Mortal Kombat game at the very top tier, like even though I love them. So I think King of Fighters 13 ended up being like number 1. I think Smash Ultimate was up there too, because you got to put Smash up there. Even though it took me a long time to come around to Smash being a fighting game, like in my own mind. But when you try to play the game yourself and you realize how hard a lot of that stuff is to even pull off, you're like, okay, I give it to you.
Yes, I'm with you on that one. At first, I was like, oh, Smash is not really a fighting game. It's more like a party game. But like on the surface, it's a party game, but under that, it's pretty intricate with the fighting. So
It's just
definitely
pure
consider that
footsies. It's like as
Yeah.
footsie as a fighting game can get.
Oh man, but I don't. There's so many fighting games. I don't. I feel like I'm gonna say one now, and then like an hour later, I'm like, oh wait, no, I changed my mind. So I don't know.
I changed that tier list ending result like 5 times before uploading it. Now, to be fair, you could do it like, well, here's my favorite, like as far as personal, and here's like what I think is the objective best. Whether like it's based on impact on the community or whether it's based on, because I had Street Fighter 4 in the top row too, because that game kick-started everything. Like it relaunched fighting games. Though let's be fair, the 3D era kept it alive. That's a thing too.
Okay. I would say the fighting game of the decade. For me, I don't know why. I feel like Tekken 7.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
That one's been getting a lot of hype. I see the community growing a lot, and I've watched a few of the tournaments, and they're pretty amazing to watch. So I would say Tekken 7.
I had a theory. I could definitely support that decision. I had a theory for why like it's growing in popularity. I think we have so many new bloods coming in for different fighting games initially. Then they hear about, oh, well, you should try Tekken. And then I think a lot of them get hooked and just never go back. And that's why Tekken is just like slowly growing. I think for 3D fighting games, I do prefer Soul Calibur 6, oddly enough. But you can't ignore how much more influential Tekken is. Like it just wins. It's the cornerstone. And I'm pretty sure Tekken is what led to Soul Calibur anyway. So you can't even pretend to like ignore. I think that's a very good decision to put Tekken up there. I considered it too, but I'd already put Tekken as fighting game of the year in like past 5 years. So I couldn't I couldn't keep putting it up there. It would have like upset people.
Like, oh, he's biased towards Tekken.
Which is funny because I'm not even super great at Tekken. And if I fight up my buddy who's really good at it and wins his local tournaments all the time, he can get me to the point where I'm like, F this game. This game's stupid. I can't even pretend to survive in this game when I'm fighting someone who knows what they're doing. Like this is ridiculous. And he just do stuff that made me salty. Like he do forced wake up situations where you can't get up in time. It's a guaranteed hit. Which is fun whenever you pull it off, but when someone does it to you, you're like, oh, that sucks. I can't even escape
That's a stupid move, man. Why's that in the game?
And the giant swing, because he plays King a lot, so he lands that giant swing, and I'm like, I swear to God, I teched that, but goodbye, 30% health. Oh, is that a wall? Oh, 50%. Yeah, you deserve that. Your half circle deserves 50% of my health. It doesn't even cost meter. Just throws me and gets all that damage. But yeah, Tekken 7's great. I think it's one.
I'm not good at Tekken. I'm gonna let everyone know that I'm not good at Tekken, but I do enjoy watching, and I think it's done a lot for the fighting game community. So I think Tekken is game of the decade or fighting game of the decade.
My friend would be very happy to hear that. He loves Tekken so much, and he's so excited to see people playing Tekken. He was telling us that we were going to get our comeuppance. He's like, oh, y'all just wait until Tekken 7 gets here. I'm playing Street Fighter 5 right now because that's like the game that everyone's playing. But when Tekken 7 gets here, y'all are all going to play Tekken 7, right? And then you'll see like what a real fighting game is. And I'm like, okay, bud. And he's a really good sport, but he switches back and forth between like humble, like, oh, let me show you some stuff, to like, yeah, you like that? It just like makes you feel terrible. He transitions a lot. All right, so your channel is doing very well. It's getting those views, new content, variety, diversifying everything. Got some nice spice there. Do you have any future plans for the channel that you want to share now? And if you want to keep it a secret, I understand. But do you have any plans for the future, or any like just even fun ideas you've tossed around but not sure if you can put in, but it sounds like a good idea, something you'd want to do?
So obviously don't want to stop doing MK related videos. I love MK, even though the videos get demonetized. But so I'm gonna keep on doing MK videos. I kind of experimented with doing more live videos, so more going outside, buying everything Mortal Kombat, vlogs and all that. So I kind of want to do some more of that this year. But yeah, you know, throwing some ideas around right now. Nothing too solid. Don't want to get anyone's hopes up.
I can get on board with that. I don't think too many fighting game channels do that, especially the going outside part. It's just always this with the studio behind the person. If anything, they're not going outside. And so that could be really good. Yeah, I think that'd be really, really awesome. You could be the guy to go to for that. Like where it's not just video games, it's combining it with just the real world experience and mixing those things together for a nice blend. I think it's a very good idea. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, you know, that's what I thought too. Everyone that I've seen usually just, you know, sits down, play games, and nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, okay, I'm doing this and everyone's being affected by demonetization. So what can I do to stay in kind of in that realm of Mortal Kombat, but not get my videos flagged. Let's go outside. I can't get flagged by that. But funny enough, I did a vlog of me going to E3, and it showed like 2 seconds of Raiden in the background, like really far in the background.
Whoa.
And my video got age restricted and demonetized.
Like gameplay or a statue? What kind of Raiden?
It was a gameplay trailer for Shang Tsung. It was just like in the background for 2 seconds. But YouTube picked it up and it age restricted and demonetized. Not even like a majority of my Mortal Kombat gameplay videos get that worse of a punishment. My vlog.
Jeez, that's ridiculous. Oh my God.
But we'll see. We'll see. If my YouTube channel doesn't die from YouTube killing it, we'll see what I do in 2020.
Maybe eventually YouTube will stop having the anxiety attacks that it's having, where it's scared of every little shadow, and it'll learn that people don't freak out over gory video games. And if people do freak out over the Suicide Forest videos and things like that actually cause problems, maybe eventually, because it's no doubt they have it out for Mortal Kombat 11. It seems like
100%.
now it's just checking for gameplay, because I've made videos titled MK11 that don't have any gameplay, and they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, even just having the title or just tagging it MK11 was enough to get it demonetized, even if you showed no gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
That was a scary day to wake up and see everything was yellow. And you're just like, what happened? I was killing Devora. That was the whole point. It was all blue. And now suddenly it's all demonetized. And they backed away a little bit from that, but now they're coming back again. May have to go back to doing the 24-hour trick. Have you tried that one?
Yeah, I've tried it, but it's just like doing that, it kind of takes away from the, I'm going to record a video today, I'm going to edit it and upload it. Daily videos. Now it's like, I'm going to edit this video, upload it the day before, wait 24 hours. And then sometimes it also doesn't get approved. So then you got to take it down and then redo it. And then there goes a day of uploads. So.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like it gets deconfirmed. I thought you meant that like they just don't get to it sometimes on the first day, because that's also true.
That is true. And I've waited 3 days before.
Oh yeah, that's insane. Man, I wish they would just, I don't know. It shouldn't get demonetized until someone flags it, I feel. Like it shouldn't matter if no one has a problem. It's a tough situation. Now I'm not going to pretend to have the answers. I'm certainly not trying to shoulder the burden of a possible billion-dollar website and pretend that I know how to avoid every lawsuit. But the best we can do for now is play the game and hope the rules change a bit more in our favor and that Lady Luck shines upon us. I guess that's what we're going to look forward to. But I think you found some very good solutions on your channel to keep things fresh and interesting. And most importantly, you're not sacrificing entertainment value for the sake of avoiding demonetization. If anything, you've done both. You've avoided demonetization and you've increased the entertainment value. So that's very impressive stuff. Once again, thank you so much for being on tonight's podcast. I think that's all we have time for today. And yeah, I really do appreciate it. Where can they find you at, Uncaged?
Well, you guys can find me over on my YouTube channel, unCAGEDgamez. I also live stream daily on Facebook at facebook.com/unCAGEDgamez. So check me out there. Also, if any of you guys are wondering why my hair is this color, I did a charity stream on my Facebook page, and we raised money, and then they got to dye my hair. So that's why, if anyone
that's just nice and wholesome. How are you going to demonetize this guy, YouTube? Look at him. He's doing charity. Just
I don't even say, I don't swear in my videos. I don't do nothing. But YouTube's like, nah, age restricted. I don't know.
You got to show more dead bodies on film. That's the way to get to their hearts. That's what you got to do. All right. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great day, a wonderful weekend. Peace out.